Are you guys ready?
Through the white thunderstorms, we ride on the back of our dark cars in a field of fight. Sons of Thor, hearts made of fire, conquering lands, fueling our desires. Soaring engines and lightning in our rise. United we stand, strength won't compromise. From the east to the west, we sail and we roll. Beneath open skies, the promised land where our spirits arise. We battle the storms and tides of the sea. Now we've arrived in the land we're meant to be.
Man, get a load of that intro. Thanks, Huds.
Hey, no problem at all. I love it.
You wrote that song and you did all the instrumentals on that and sang it. That's impressive.
I did.
Guys, welcome to the DragonShip. I am your host today. I'm Paul Bauer. And joining me today, let's go back to the other layout where we can see everybody.
Okay.
Joining me on the panel today, we'll start at the bottom. We have our guest, Jack Napier, who just broke his Rule Zero hosting cherry. What's going on, Jack?
After 3 years of being on there back and forth.
True virgin. True virgin.
I just wanted to wait till I got a full commitment. Okay.
I was shocked when because it's like this, right? So Thor has been, a bit busy with his stuff. So then it's like basically just Nuke and I going, yeah, we're available. We're available to host. It's just Nuke and I, because everyone else is just like, they passed the buck. And so when I said, I can host if no one wants it, Jack goes, I'll do it. I was like, what the actual, yes.
Okay,
dude,
so this is actually not what happened. Here's what really happened. So one night, Paul texted me. He's like, hey, Jackie, you up? I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? Well, I can come over. And then I just get us drinks, and all of a sudden I felt very odd and I passed out a bit. Before I know it, Rule Zero was on my channel and I kind of had to host. So
I just fucker games.
I just make stuff happen when people are passed out.
Wait, so you
did you
passed
wake up
out?
sore, Rule Zero?
Jack, did you wake up sore?
No, well, a bit. And Paul was smiling a lot. I'm like,
yeah. Who wasn't smiling and talking like this in the zipper zapper?
Did you need help? Do you want to just blink? Let me know if you're still
blink if you need
if you're in danger.
Blink if you're in danger.
It feels like this is the only thing I can still do.
Yeah, well, I have that effect on people. Mike Steele, you're here eating fancy burgers and milkshakes, man. What's going on, dude?
Well, AJ gave me, I don't know, plain throat, whatever that is. When
wait, what?
Whoa, wait,
whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, wait, back up. So
It's the Mile High Club without being a mile high.
So
I don't want to even know what
I
that
wake up
is.
this morning and I'm sick, and my only conclusion is AJ carried something off the plane, gave it to me, and now I'm sick.
Gave it to you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
I gave it to him all right.
Yeah. So AJ had a long layover in Vegas. So
I'm sure he had a long layover with you.
Oh, it was a long way.
There's no laying. There's
I
no
don't know,
laying
Mike.
down.
You were running ragged
Vegas.
after that week with Nerdrotic, I think. Right?
But
you met up with Nerdrotic? With Gary?
Yeah, in fact, since we're on the topic real quick, Paul, we got that. I think we still have that in the chat here, don't we? Here, where is it? Yeah, let's play that real quick.
What's up, RP Thor? I wish you were here, man. We wish you were here, but thanks for the wonderful message. We love you. Thanks for supporting the fellowship. You the fucking man.
Oh, nice.
I get around a little bit. I've been watching that guy since he started. So.
Oh, god damn. We are finally getting the Nerd Red Pill crossover. Oh, my.
Yeah.
We're actually
So-
all secretly nerds. People don't know that.
That is true.
We are
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
especially
Nerds.
Nuke. But yeah, no, AJ and I had a really good time. We went to Gordon Ramsay Burger. I bought a $50 burger. Suck it. And he had a damn good milkshake. Those are his words.
I'm sure you know how good his milkshake brought you to the yard.
Yes.
And gave you airplane
And
throat?
gave you some airplane throat. I
That's
mean, you
because
know.
Glenn was first.
That now there's a benefit,
Oh.
there's a benefit to airplane throat. If
Whoa.
we get super chats today,
The fuck is going on here?
there's
What
a
did I
benefit.
miss?
If we get super chats today, I
The
can
Brava in the chat, please don't listen to them, okay?
I can read them
From
extra
Culture Club, I
gravelly.
can see you.
I can read the super chats extra gravelly today.
Okay,
So
perfect. Speaking of airplane throat, what's up, AJ? You're hanging out with Thor this weekend, huh?
Yes, they let me out of my hobbit hole this weekend. It's my weekend off, so I decided to book a flight out to California, visit Thor for the weekend. I had a nice little layover with Mike Steele. We did some debauchery. I may have licked some brass nipples on a mermaid in Vegas.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Brass mermaids.
Yeah.
Well,
As
we're
one
glad to
does,
host
as one
AJ
does
for
in
sure.
Vegas.
I think
We
we
might
might
put
a
a
picture.
We might put a
then
video
Glenn-
later throwing the axe, so we'll see.
And then Glenn was so kind enough to pick me up from the airport. I had to repay him because the whole ass caster grass, and I didn't have any of it except for the ass. So Glenn had some fun last night.
This show is
something
about
really
what's wrong with
turned
my
into a
futon?
homoerotic.
Something about grabbing on that beard. It just does something.
Is that why the leg's off of my futon?
Exactly.
Yes, the nips.
Wow. All right. Nuke, what's up with you, Nuke?
Same old shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you guys want to catch me, I talk about. I had a good last couple episodes about when to take a break, how to take L's, and all that stuff when dating. So, you could go on X and complain that you not getting laid is a downfall of the West, or you can go talk to some women. It's choice is yours. But nothing much, man. Just work, streaming, puppy stuff. Same old.
Classic. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Lawrence, have you saved the West yet?
No, but I will be collaborating with Culture Club USA, DeBrava, and she is like a very based, female in the red pill space now, and I'll be working with her next week actually. So if you guys haven't checked out her channel, she's like interviewed and broke down like Fresh and Fit's videos. She's also did an interview with Marquette, aka the Saint and Sinner. So I'm gonna be working with her next week. I believe that's correct, right? On the 22nd. Is that what we said to Bravo? She's in the chat. Yes.
She hasn't interviewed Paul yet. I mean, that's our leader right there. So,
Well, like she has a 6 foot rule.
okay.
All right. And then the Philly's greatest dating coach, Huds, who created our intro today. What's up, man?
Great job.
Hey, man. I have to say this was a really, really cool week. This week, with my men's group, Men of Now, came together with the DragonShip, the Dragons membership. And I'm working with one of our members to really reinvent the wheel and make online dating simple. So from my book, The First Text, he evolved it and simplified it. And we are continuing to improve it to the point that you will always get a response from a girl, no matter what. And it's really amazing to see. And it was really exciting to actually bring 2 different men's groups together. So I appreciate you, Thor, for allowing that.
Yeah, no problem. The groups are a great thing. And let's not fail to mention the beer club too. I mean, these groups are all loosely associated and they are men's brotherhoods. And it's extremely important to our psyche as men to have these brotherhoods and friendships that span distance and time. It is kind of our way of moving forward with conventional masculinity. And I appreciate them all.
So and while you're here, Thor, what's new with you, man? What are you been up to?
Well, as you can see behind me, Volhole Studios is kind of coming along. We've got one camera in there, and Glenn's on it right now. I'm in the old studio, green screening it. But, with AJ and Glenn here, it's just really nice of these guys to come out, especially now. And I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing Paul, too, and the other guys. it's been really meaningful for everybody to reach out. I have not been able to really get online and do much. And I know my brother, Miko Hughes, constructed this set behind me. Fantastic. Kind of my brother and son. I've raised him since he was little. And he did that because he really wanted me to start streaming. I'm not sure when that's going to actually happen, when I'll be streaming by myself, but look forward to do it in the future. So we are making plans in that direction, and we've outlined a new book. So that's it for me right now. Just kind of head down.
It's good. Yeah. I'm coming out next month, actually. So I'm looking forward
Hey,
to that.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You're coming out next month. We already knew.
Congratulations.
Coming
So,
out.
are you gonna like?
That futon's going to be messed up again, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
You know,
should we get cake
I'll
tips
let-
to
I'll
make the
let
cake
Paul
for
come-
him?
Wait,
I'll let
Paul.
Paul come cuddle with me.
Hey,
let
Paul. When
cuddle with me.
Yeah.
what day are you going? Put in the private chat. Maybe I can.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
Yeah.
meet up there.
Oh, man.
Okay. Yeah. I'll message you about that.
Okay.
But let's get to the topic, guys. So I've been doing this a lot lately on my channel. I've been going through the Red Pill archive, which, if you guys didn't know, a lot of the original Red Pill content's disappearing off the internet, and places like Reddit, where people used to swap notes, a lot of those old forums are getting quarantined. And so I'm not sure who runs it. I don't know if you guys know, but
Yeah, Joe. God damn it, Joe D. Also, he used to go by the name of Red Pill School, I believe.
Oh yeah, he follows me on Twitter, and he has a
Okay.
channel. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he runs the Red Archive, right? The Red Pill Archive. And what he's done is he's basically archived all these old forum posts, all the old blog articles. Like, you can still find Royce's old articles on there. You can find a lot of Rush's old articles on there. So I've been going through and just finding, really good gems, that I want to make sure that these ideas stay out there no matter how, right? So so I've been doing that a lot on my channel, and I happened to come across a subreddit in the Red Pill Archive, and it's the Red Pill Women. So these are women that have come to the conclusion that they've been fed a bunch of lies over the years. And I found this one by, let's see here, by this chick, Z Sadist, and she wrote a pretty interesting article called "What Even Is Red Pill Women? LOL Plate School." But she wrote basically the 6 things I wanted to talk about today, which are blue pill messages that she's received that have failed her. Right. So these are 6 blue pill lies society tells women, basically. And I wanted to just go through these like one at a time, just go around the horn and chat about some of these today. So I'll drop a link to that in the chat if you guys want to read the full article. But this was written by a woman. It's not just us guys telling women what to think. It's a woman coming to these realizations and sharing it with other women. And, and we can sort of talk about that as guys from our perspective. So the first one here is: the right man will just fall into your lap when it's time. Don't worry about dating or try to increase your odds, you precious women. You never have to do anything that puts you outside of your comfort zone, which kind of goes hand in hand with the Rule 0 that we did today, right, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Women don't have to try; they just show up looking.
That's
hot.
true, and it's based on their nature too. They just are, their sexuality is inbuilt when they're born, which is a very much a fundamental observation that we've made in this space, is that women don't have to become who they are. And boy, does the gynocracy really promote there's one for you, always one for you. Even if you want to be a strong, independent woman, what do they tell you? When you're ready to settle down, there'll be one that's your equal. Blank slate equalism, I think, is really at root here, Paul, where they're lying to the women saying there is one. The fact of the matter is there are hundreds of ones. But that doesn't really fit the narrative. But boy, that is a tough one, because when there's only one and you think you might have that one, when you lose it, your world crashes in and there's no support for it.
So my thoughts on this, though, is the right man will fall into your lap when it's time. for a lot of women out there these days, there is no right man anymore, right? There are a lot of guys are raised to be defective women. So a lot of these guys that show up start, displaying a lot of beta traits that women over the time give them the ick, and then they end up divorcing these guys, and now they're single moms, and they're like, I don't know what happened, but this guy's just not the right guy for me. I thought he was.
Right.
Well, I also think that there is a little bit of a lie to it too, because it says, yeah, you could attract the guy, but it doesn't mean that he's going to stay or that you're going to be happy with him, like over time. Like, yeah, you could always get him, but why can't you keep him? Or why do you lose interest in him? There's not this challenge like you are just because you are. Yes, that's enough to attract the guy, but it is not necessarily enough to keep the guy that you want interested in you.
Well, this is really comforting because it lets the gals think that it's going to happen to them as part of destiny, which really fits in kind of with that zodiac astrology thing. It's very comforting to know my prince will come in and I don't have to do the work, which kind of fits her nature, right? Men chase, women receive.
And we do, but I think there's a difference between getting that long-term man who's the kind of man they want versus getting sexual attention. When it comes to sexual attention, yes, men fall into women's laps all day, every day, until they reach an age to where that can no longer happen.
Mostly head first.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to actually getting a good man, no, a woman needs to do something. She needs to do a couple things. So, like, if you're a young lady and you want to marry a doctor, the easiest way to find a doctor to marry is to, yes, go to school and become a nurse, but then, like Kevin Samuels would say, put yourself in the proximity of a bunch of doctors.
Yes.
And then you pick your doctor. Okay, that guy, he's 27 and he's super cute and he works out and I know how much money he makes because I know what he does and all that. That's my doctor. Then you need to present yourself to him as the kind of woman that he's going to want. How badly do you want that one man? How badly do you want that
or
doctor?
just become a hypochondriac and then you could just doctor shop.
Well, I see that women tend not to be that
I have to
pragmatic.
say this.
They're not that pragmatic.
Go ahead, Huds.
I have to say this. Nurse chick messed up because she didn't get a doctor. She got you, Paul.
He's Dr. Philip Anya.
Most doctors aren't in that top 4.7% though.
Yeah. Doctors ain't got this kind of game, bro.
That's right. He's Dr. Philip Anya.
So I don't think they keep putting the pragmatism of exposing themselves. Just listen to anything on TikTok. Where are the men? They don't understand. That's the big lies. They don't have to use any sort of pragmatism to expose themselves to the men they want.
Well, so I think they also misconstrue relationship value with sexual market value. They think they're one and the same. That throws everybody off. They think, oh, because I'm a 10, I deserve a 10 dude, but I've fucked 1,000 dudes. No guy that's a 10 dude's going to wipe up a chick that's a 10 herself physically that's fucked 1,000 dudes. But in their heads, they think it's one and the same.
Well, girls don't have game either.
That too.
And girls think that game is like saying dirty stuff, but the girl's best game is just being silent. I know that's
I would say being pleasant.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean, but
like right now, if you're gonna women want to. The thing is that women have this thing. It's like Patrice O'Neal's best joke ever is "Ain't That Better." I'm sure all of you guys have seen his best joke.
Yes,
it's Patrice O'Neal sitting on the couch watching sports, and his girl comes and wraps her warm body around him, turns on the lights, turns down the TV, takes away his hamburger, and gives him a healthy meal. Like, does all these things that she was taught to do on the internet, but all Patrice wanted was for her to just leave him alone when he wanted to be alone. He wanted her to be in the house hanging around, but he did not want her to sit next to him and bother him while he was doing something, right? And that's a universal experience for all men. And if you're gonna want, in order for you to be happy with a woman, you have to let her know early on that you have to leave me alone. And I asked this on a podcast once where girls were like, blah blah blah, men, women. I'm like, okay, ladies, let's see how much game you really have. I'm your boyfriend. You love me. I come home and I look pissed, like from work. What's the first thing you do? Oh, I come and hug you, and I come in and shower you with, I breathe. And I'm like, no, you leave me the fuck alone for 30 minutes until I open my mouth. And every married guy, even my dad, because my mom had game. My mom, when my dad come pissed from work, my mom would be like, don't talk to your dad, leave him alone. Right? Just go somewhere else. He's at his computer. Let him type away something, like leave him alone. And guess what? My parents are still married. They celebrated their 40th anniversary yesterday. Right? That's what it comes down to. It's not some super complicated thing. The thing is that women want to make it complicated because it's in their nature. It's like
right there, serve a drink and walk away.
I got to give you a sound drop for that one.
Nurse Trick knows girl game pretty good.
Yeah,
Nuke, that is such a big truism about just being in the presence of a woman is enough, but that in your face, or let me tell you about my day, sometimes that is such a bad thing to do for game. It's just really hard, and then the poor gals sit there and you start hearing there's a lot of talk. And have you ever been in the situation where you're not listening to me? Yes, because I need this space.
I need space.
Women don't understand it because from their point of view, they want to talk through the problem, right? So if they had a bad day, they want to talk about it, and they think, well, if I want to talk about it, guys want to talk about it. It's like, no, we don't process things differently. We process things differently.
Yeah,
really good point, Nuke. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Jack, you were going to argue with Nuke about this.
Argue, not per se.
What did you have? Did you have a thought about it though?
Kind of a thought. Like, girl game is not just be silent; it's more like be silent at the right time, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like the actual girl game, like there are girls who know how to be charming. Unfortunately, they're few and far between, kind of thing. Like where the article talks about, like, the right man will just fall in your lap when it's time. Now, okay, so he's fallen into your lap, but will he stay there? Probably
exactly.
Not.
That's what.
Probably
That was what I
not.
was trying to get at. Like that's the point what I was trying to get at, Jack. Is like, yeah, that we may fall into your lap, but can you keep us there? Can you keep us interested long enough to where it could be something that you actually want?
Like
that goes back to the relationship value versus sexual market value.
Like, does the lap stay a safe haven of peace and serenity and things like that, or will it turn into this whirlpool maelstrom of chaos?
It's just a calamity
and adversity everywhere. Like, what's it gonna be? Like later on, and I don't want to spoil it, but which one is it? The fifth one about the spunky women. Where it's like, if you're in the beginning as a woman, you're charming, you're fun, you're bubbly, all that, things like that. And then all of a sudden you turn snarky and whatever because you can't keep it up. And that's when you're probably going to lose it. Because if there's one thing a guy really can't stand in general, it's an argumentative woman. It's a disagreeable woman.
Oh, yeah.
And especially disagreeable for the sake of being disagreeable.
For fun,
that's not fun.
We don't want an insufferable bitch.
No, pretty damn much.
Yeah, it's like what Patrice O'Neill said. Women are so focused on being lovable, they forgot how to be likable.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Like being likable is very different from being lovable. We love you inherently, but if you see the difference between two different guys who are in love, a guy that's in love is like, this girl. Like he just looks annoyed, right? Because his girl doesn't understand how to be likable. Now, a guy that likes a girl is just like, man, this girl's a hoe. I love her. Like she's so cool. She leaves my apartment, doesn't say anything, doesn't text me all the time. And that's because women that are just like side pieces give you lots of space. And that's what guys understand. One of the reasons men cheat, unfortunately, is because they just feel smothered and they just need a time with a woman that doesn't care if they come or go or anything like that. And it's unfortunate, right? But it's just, you need to give men space, especially now. Men need space. And if you don't give him his space, he will start to feel suffocated and he'll run from you, like almost literally run from you.
Yep.
Which
shout out to Pearl.
Yeah, go ahead, Thor.
Yeah, I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Pearl, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Also, I'm going to read her comment because she is interested in this topic, very much so. And women are also terrible at differentiating between men with money and fake money, laugh out loud. I have interviewed so many women that think they've dated billionaires, and I don't believe it. Yes, of course. I mean, this is part of the blue pill lies that are told to lots of women. And we appreciate those comments. Thanks for tuning in. Pearl, Kate J, thank you. We appreciate that. Tim, Ada, all the folks out there, I'm trying to shout you out. Nick, man, that's awesome. Culture Club, Nurse Chick, always a pleasure. We see you appreciate and supporting the Dragon Ship and your man. He is at the helm today doing a fantastic job, which reminds me, guys, please like and subscribe over there at Come On Man Podcast, at RP Thor, at the Hudsman, Mike Steele, Glenn Lawrence, of course, and Nuke. Nuke is tearing it up. A lot of good logic, thinks through things. Proud to call him a Drakkar. AJM, up and coming, and of course the inevitable Jack Napier.
He is inevitable.
Could you imagine
that he will become?
if of all people, I had the Infinity Glove? Y'all motherfuckers be fucked.
I know. And you have the Lego stone.
No. Because all I gotta do is give you like a 1 billion piece Lego set, and you just put the Infinity Glove down.
Oh, no,
Now reality is whatever I want.
Just do whatever I want. It's like,
His whole house actually is made out of Legos. You just can't see it because we're zoomed out.
You know what?
You know
Welcome, Jack.
what I think is so funny is like, okay, like I'll go with it, but actually, like, my whole collection isn't even that much. Like, I have seen people where it's like, oh my god, you just have a problem. Like, you know, those guys who go way too far into their hobby where their whole house is their hobby. It's like, you guys joke about me, but I can point out to people where it's like, oh man, this shit ain't healthy anymore.
I got a question for you.
Appreciate all the supporters, guys. Back to the super chat. Mike, would you read this one out for Glenn? I don't know. We're going to see what kind of world we get, but it should be really interesting with Glenn at the helm. So
Airport.
we're going to read that out. I appreciate it, guys. You want to ask questions? Super chats are super appreciated. Every channel accepts. So we're doing great. Thanks.
Culture Club USA.
If I had the Infinity Gauntlet, I would make Glenn 5'4". I think that.
Have you seen him in person? He's 5'5".
He is.
All right, guys, let Mike read this.
Culture Club USA for $20. Thank you for the support. To help Glenn save the world, Debrava US Fire.
Well, first of all, thank you, Debrava. Like I said, I can't wait to be working with her this coming week. She has a really great show going on, so I definitely, it's very encouraging. She got something going. She's going to be making some definite headway here soon.
Fantastic. Remember, guys, the Dragon Ship, where a rising tide lifts all boats. And we are that rising tide. Back to you.
All right. So I want to touch on one thing that Pearl said, right? Like, women have no idea that if they're dating real billionaires or not. Just fun fact, guys, there's a place in LA where you can get your pictures taken in a fake fuselage of a private jet. So if you want to look like a billionaire on Instagram, there's a way to do it.
And
we
on
are
top
all,
of that,
just saying, we're all billionaires on this panel. All of us. Just
all of us,
And-
for real. Yeah. Oh, hey, look,
One, guys.
10 pounds. Here, go, read this one, Mike.
Dang, man. That's like worth what? $42 here? Thanks, Pearl, man.
In California, it's like $1.
I know it.
$12.
Thank you, Pearl. Appreciate it. Hopefully,
nice show from London.
do it again.
Nice. That was good. That was good. Do it.
Nice show from London. You are only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Wait, what's all this?
You know
That's
how
Michael Caine. That's Michael Caine. I knew it.
if you guys say water bottle in British, it sounds like this. Water bottle.
Say Tuesday.
All right, guys, let's get on with this, right? Yep. So the next one on the list here is the right man will love you unconditionally, exactly as you are. And if you're fat and mean, well, he's just not man enough to handle you.
Wrong.
This is a big lie.
I love this one because they always throw out that picture of Pierce Brosnan and his wife. And they got married like 30 years ago, and Pierce Brosnan only gained like 20 pounds, but his wife gained like 120 pounds, and they're still together. They're just like, see, there's a good man. There's a good man.
He can handle her at her worst.
No, he has wife goggles. And I mean, as a Hollywood actor, he probably has had something on the side, and she was loyal to him and things like that. I don't know the dynamic between the two. Who knows? Maybe he likes him bigger. I don't know. I ain't judging the brothers either. Maybe Pierce Brosnan has some brother in him. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some interesting assumptions going on there. You're right, Jack. I mean,
He's
you
the
don't know what's
architect.
going on.
He's the
He's
architect.
the architect. What?
Yeah, that's the internet. That's the running internet joke where he's actually encouraging and feeding his wife to get fatter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a big joke on the internet, but
That's dark. That's just absolutely dark.
Why, I mean, to what end? To what end, Nuke?
he
Let's
just likes
see how big she can get, of course. How far can you go?
Practices shibari there, Paul.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, what's shibari for?
we want to know. Do we want to know what that is?
Oh
Rope
god!
art.
Oh god!
Wait, you guys
Yeah,
don't know
rope.
what that is?
I know what it is.
I know.
Glenn should know what it is. I know Mike knows what it is.
All right, AJ, let us all in on this. What is this?
Shibari is the Japanese art of seductive rope tying. You're pretty much making art with rope and a naked female body. It is fucking glorious. I want to learn it. Like that's like the one thing that I really want to learn.
Vincent from Masculine
okay.
Geek knows
Oh,
too.
Vince from
Yes,
Masculine
Vince.
Geek. Okay.
Vince does it.
I do it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not so fun.
I'm
on
more of
pod,
a
but it's
home
pretty fun.
kitchen supply kind of guy where it's like, oh, there's a tie, there's a belt, there's a like a drying cloth. It's way easier.
Paul, what?
So one thing I wanted to say on this is that's like the question when it comes to like, okay, so like the right man will love you unconditionally exactly as you are. And if you're fat and mean, well, hey, he's just not man enough to handle you. Okay, then why are you still single?
Boom.
Right?
Boom, baby.
Because all the
because
men are
it's the
terrible.
man's fault. It's the man's fault. It's never their
Oh, I
fault.
forgot.
Yeah.
Fat shaming. They're fat shaming me.
Don't you know that women have a basic rule 02, and that's the man's fault? Whereas us rule 0 is what's useful. On women's side, it's the man's fault.
Mhm.
So
But I mean, that's a big one too, where they inevitably, how do I phrase this? They inevitably take away all the blame from women, and that whatever happens, it was his fault and it was his doing, and he just couldn't handle you, which,
yeah,
from a certain point of view, quoting Obi-Wan, is true from a certain point of view.
yes,
Where it's like he didn't want to handle you anymore, which is a big one too, which a lot of people forget. Like maybe he could have handled you, but the time, effort, and energy spent on needing to handle you was not worth what he would get in return. Going back to point one, where a guy just wants a pleasant woman who is not argumentative, who is not disagreeable, and who is thin and attractive. But even thin and attractiveness can become unattractive when she's disagreeable and argumentative. Add to that she's gaining weight and everything. What else has she got then? Then she has nothing, absolutely nothing for the guy to want to stay or want to handle you.
And I have experienced personally that rare exception where the woman is just so pleasant and wonderful and warm and kind and loving to be around that it didn't matter what she looked like per se. But again, this was a married woman, and the example I give is this: when I was living in Germany, I met this Romanian woman, and she was kind of large, and she was married, so nothing happened, you know, because I'm a good guy. But
And she was fat.
Yes. Well, and well, she had the healthy bosom to go with it and everything. But she was so kind, loving, warm, gentle, and friendly that it created an attraction. I just found myself attracted to her, even though she was quite large. So, but she had to be so ridiculously wonderful to counteract that, basically. And I haven't seen a large woman that kind, wonderful, and loving since. It hasn't happened. She made a damn good goulash.
Oh god damn!
Ooh.
There's like
Goulash game is highly slept
pretty
on.
good.
Food game in general, man. If they can cook a decent meal in general, that's good girl game in my eyes.
I am the only guy who's not into that, where it's like I can cook my own damn meal.
That's
like,
not the point.
I mean, I can do it too, but still, like if a girl can actually cook something that doesn't need to be microwaved or just cut a slit and throw it in the oven, like if she can actually like make the mother sauces and that kind of stuff, I find that very impressive and very attractive.
it
Well,
comes in handy
it's
when it's
not-
like when I'm out of time. I would every now and then text her where it's like, hey, could you make me my dinner? It's like, yeah, okay, and then it comes in handy. But in general, I'm not big on the whole. I need her to cook and clean.
It's,
blah,
it's
blah,
not
blah.
about need. It's not about needing though. See, a lot of guys. I think a lot of
Yes.
guys don't
Yeah,
understand
we don't want
this.
a mother.
They don't understand this, right? Because it's like, yeah, we can cook, we can clean, we can do all the stuff that that we need to do to be adults. But if you have a girl that wants to invest in a guy, she's going to want to do nice things for you. It's like, let her do it.
It's
Let
how
her
they
do
fall
it.
in love. They fall in love.
Also,
by
I
doing
want
things
her
for you.
to be able to feed all of my multitudes of children and grandchildren.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah, I want
Good
Thanksgiving to be
move.
at my house. That's why I want Thanksgiving and Christmas to be at my house.
Yes.
All right,
That
Thanksgiving and
is a
Christmas
whole
are my
topic
meals.
in and of itself there, Nuke. Where
Yeah.
there's stress in relationships, that's a big deal, is establishing that family if you're going to do it.
I would say that when it's not so much she's doing it for me, right? Because obviously we're all still alive. We've learned how to feed ourselves, and
Yeah.
and our houses look clean. It's the competence, right?
Mm.
Because if I am not interested in you doing it for me per se at first, because eventually you will have to, like, I will have to do stuff for you and you will have to do stuff for me if we're going to live together, right? Just, it's part of life. It's, do I have to do it for you? Like, are you asking me to do things for you that you're unable to take care of yourself, right? Like, if you tell me I don't cook, then I'm like, how do you feed yourself? Like, what do you do? Like
That
Are you-
part I
Uber
do.
Eats.
Grubhub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you Grubhub and spend $600 a month on groceries, on shit food? Like, those are the things that I worry about. And one of the things that makes relationship work, especially nowadays, is competence. Like a girl that's not lazy. We underestimate how shitty it is to be with the lazy woman, and that's one of the reasons the trad thing is getting popular, because it is the Trojan horse, the back door for lazy women to be stay-at-home wives all day. Which there's nothing. My mom was a stay-at-home wife, right? But she was very, she understood that it wasn't just laying around scrolling on TikTok all day. Plus, there's so much technology now that facilitates keeping your house clean. Everything from apps to get people to come clean your house for like $50, or Roombas and stuff like that, and air fryers that are like Bluetooth connected and all that stuff. That honestly, one of the worst things one of the worst type of girls I've ever dated, no matter how attractive, is women that were like little princesses, right? I am not.
Oh yeah.
I am not a millionaire. I can't afford a nanny. I can't afford Consuela to come over and clean 24/7. I am a upper middle class guy, and I cannot afford those things. So I need somebody that can at least do it for themselves, right? Because I can do my own laundry. But if you can't do it for yourself, I want nothing to do with you, because you're a child. You haven't grown up.
That I do agree with you on, Nuke, where it's like you don't want to end up with a girl who you feel the need. Okay, let me phrase this right. You don't want to end up with a girl that makes you feel you need to take care of her. Otherwise, her life will be a living hell. Because then it isn't love, then it is dependence.
Yeah.
And you don't want to end up in a situation where you get the idea that she's not in love with you, but that she's dependent on you.
I want to add to all this too, because I had the traditional minded wife that wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and really what she wanted was early fucking retirement. And that's what most of these chicks out here that are trying to sell you on the traditional lifestyle, and they get behind these guys that are like, yeah, I want a stay-at-home wife. I want a woman that raises my children. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. And the women that truly want to do that and truly want to, nurture the family, and those women are a blessing. I'm not going to say they're not, but a majority of women that say that want early fucking retirement, and they want a guy that just pays all their bills. They hand their kid a fucking iPad to babysit them all day, and then they're making fucking ass shaking videos on TikTok. Like most of those chicks are scammers. So you really gotta gotta watch a chick's actions when she's pushing for that, because that's the woman I ended up marrying. And
it sucks. Yeah, it sucks.
Hey, Nuke. You know what the biggest problem is in our area, like the Dallas-Fort Worth area, with the women and their cooking abilities? They're all addicted to fucking Takis. Like they love fucking Takis, and it's making them fucking fat. Women of DFW, stop eating the fucking Takis and eat some real food, please.
Yeah, the Takis, they come with different flavors, like blue flavor. I'm like, what flavor is this even?
It's
What is
blue
it?
I've
flavor.
also noticed the hotter the Taki, the more toxic the chick is.
What's
Yeah.
Ooh,
Taki?
there you go. So
It's
that's
like-
a red flag. Is that
It's
what
hot
you're saying?
Cheetos.
Yes.
It's like blue hot Cheetos, except more spicy. It's like hot Cheetos, but more
Yeah,
spicy.
the
Blue
spicier the Takis.
Takis is a red flag.
I've seen those. Okay.
Hey, we got a super, guys. Mike, you want to handle the super?
Yes. What voice is going to handle this super? What are we thinking here today? Maybe. All right. I got one. Generally specific for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Glenn is the real deal. A man willing to help out others. And thanks for the notes on the other night. Looking forward to saying Scald with the Crow someday soon. Pearl would love to interview you. I'm Morgan Freeman.
All right, here we go for Glenn and for Jones Pacific. I think he stepped away, but we're good to go there. Thank you guys for the supers. These are really important. They help keep the stream going, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, my comment back was they expect the man to unconditionally love the woman as part of that lie. Men can, in many ways, because they love idealistically, can think that they're loving unconditionally. But I don't think that's fully true. What are you guys' thoughts on that? The last part of that question. Back to Paul.
Oh, on whether men, I think most men do try to love unconditionally, but I think what ends up happening most of the time, and this was what happened in my marriage, is that guys just resolve to be miserable.
Yeah.
that was at the end of my marriage. I was just like, this is just how life is, man. You're in a sexless marriage. You fucking hate your wife. You find her annoying. She hates your guts, but that's life, man. That's love. That's real love. Right. And it's like, no,
Love takes work.
No, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to fucking be that way.
Yeah. And love really doesn't take work if you have the truth of human intersexual dynamics and you can accept them as features and not flaws. It's pretty seamless. You kind of can slow down and not react with your emotions, especially as a man. If you can slow down and not react so rapidly with emotions, which we're always under pressure to, believe me, when I'm tired, my emotions are ready to shoot out there because they're easier.
You see it on social media all the time.
If you can stop that, man, the relationship becomes so seamless and actually enjoyable. Not just between husband and wife, but between husbands, wives, girlfriends, plates, even your brothers,
Yeah. Let's go to the next one here. The next one is, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. There is no value in male leadership. If you let a man lead, you're being abused. Watch out. All men are just trying to fuck you over.
Now,
Jack Napier, are you a fish on a bicycle?
Well, I mean, I do ride bicycles. I am Dutch. I mean, if you mean that. But okay. It's the same old narrative that they used to bring up to get more women into the workforce, into the CEO spaces, because that was dominated by, middle-aged white men. And we couldn't have that, of course.
Competent people.
Yeah, pretty much. We need more women in there. And as you can see now, like most companies with female leadership are kind of going down. And if you let a man lead, you're being abused. Okay. That thing that just stems from the whole. How do you phrase that? It's that massive ego certain women have developed that they just cannot be led by a man. And like leading, what does leading even mean? Where it's like you don't have to make all the decisions, or it's like your guy has a say in the household. Often, like the majority of the say, because 9 times out of 10, he pays for most of it, kind of thing. Like the leading, he leads it to where he wants to go. The question is, do you want to follow? That's the big question, which this is not a question of leadership. This is a question of followership. And that's what a lot of girls these days just don't want to do anymore. They are so entitled, they are so bratty, that when a man just removes his attention or whatever, because like you don't have your words, you can't argue with her, you can't do shit. But when he removes his attention, it's all of a sudden it's abusive. It's abusive. He ignores me. He does this, that, and the other. No, you have been insufferable towards him. He removes himself from the situation, and you do not adjust your behavior. That caused him to be distant. Well, it's all his fault. I'm not going to change. I'll just find the next guy. Guess what? The same thing is going to happen, or you're going to be miserable because he does stay and you walk all over him. And then you ask yourself, why am I not happy? Well, because you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But the man who then indeed, or he does mention beforehand his boundaries, like, hey, this is something I do not enjoy. Just done. Oh, you don't accept me for who I am. It's like, okay, sure. Then never mind. But they have to tell themselves it's abusive or that male leadership is useless just to feel better about themselves.
There's also this faulty mindset nowadays that they're letting the men lead at work.
Oh yeah,
I don't let my VP lead me. He's the VP of IT, and if I want to work for him, I accept the position. If I don't want to be led by him, I don't accept the job and I resign and I go home. I don't let him lead. He's already leading, and I decide whether or not to get into that situation.
Yes. You know what? Let me say this, and then we'll do our mid-roll ads. If a woman's letting you lead, who the fuck is really leading? Right? If you guys want to learn how to be leaders, Thor's got a solution for you.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.
Life is a journey filled with twists and turns. Why is it that essential life lessons aren't taught in school? You probably know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but do you know how to invest in a Roth IRA? We're not taught to build ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. The roadmap to success is more than just a college degree. You don't have to follow the traditional route. Success isn't confined to a classroom. It's about discovering your own path. You ever wish that someone handed you a guidebook to life when you were 18? Well, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Everything I wish I knew when I was 18. Advice for young men to create a great life for themselves. This book is your compass, guiding you to pick the right career, how to invest wisely, and how to prepare for a fulfilling future. To take control of your health and your fitness. Learn how to date efficiently and find genuine desire. And master the art of leading healthy relationships. Your path is defined by the choices you make, not by others' expectations. Don't wait until you're 35 to unlock your potential. Order your copy now on Amazon. Rewrite your story. Build the life you deserve.
And yes, fish do need bicycles, because if they didn't have bicycles, we wouldn't have transport from the lakes to our dinner plates. Okay. Fish do need bicycles. This is a misnomer, because without them, they would overcrowd, they would starve, they wouldn't know what to do, and it would be a sad state for the fish without bicycles.
That's right.
That makes sense. Oh, Glenn, what are your take on women need men like fish need bicycles.
Well, I mean, you know, what can women do without men? What have women done without men? Name one invention that a woman has done without men.
The radio.
Where's Kathy when you need
I
her?
actually know one, but I'm not going to say.
Oh, I know there's one, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm not trying to say that women don't need men. We need each other. We're complements to each other. Like, okay, for just like for a guy that says I don't need a woman. Okay, the only guys that say that are gay. You know, there's things that men and women offer. We are perfect complements to each other. We are designed that way. So for anybody, man or woman, to say I don't need a man, I don't need women in my life, like, no, you do, or you're just gay. And if you're gay, that's cool. That just be gay then. But we need a complement to each other. That's
It's
why
the yin and yang. It's the yin and yang. It always has been.
It's always been. Men are always going to need women. Women will always need men. And to believe that lie, then you're just delusional. Simple as that.
Speaking of gay people, if you guys need a gay dating coach, I mean, not that he's gay, but he coaches gay people. Huds, what's your take on women not needing men?
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like it goes back to exactly what Glenn was saying. It's the yin and yang. The yin and yang is my favorite symbol that has ever existed. And the reason why it's so important to me is because when you bring the masculine and feminine together, you create something even more powerful than you had before. And to say like, oh, don't need women, don't need men, like that's just denying reality. And you're just setting yourself up for a worse life than you would have if you actually combine together. I just don't get it, because if you don't want to have a partner, then why complain about it?
Well, I have my thoughts on this, right? Infrastructure wise, outside of like relationships, yes, we need women to procreate and have more children and all that stuff. And we need men to keep the infrastructure society, you know, going, right? Because we do the infrastructure jobs. But within a relationship, because of technology, men and women, we don't need each other anymore, right? And that is one of the biggest things that's making everyone so bitter about the other gender, is because we have nothing to offer the other sex anymore, right? You have guys that think, I have a job, why don't you love me? And it's just like, dude, she already has money and a career. Why would she need your money? You don't get to have a girl's love because you came there first, right?
Well, here's the thing though, that Nuke, it's like why do guys like push themselves? Because they want women. Well,
Yeah.
like, guys are simple. We can live in a cardboard box as long as, like, if that's all we bare minimum that we need. Why do we want to, you know, to work on our look? Why do we want to level up? Because we want to get good women.
Why
do
do
women
happy.
care about?
We want women to be happy.
Exactly. So it's like we drive each other. The desire for one another drives each other. Whether it's like you have them or you don't have them, you're in the pursuit of them. You're only leveling up, really not so much for you, because you're comfortable eating cardboard pizza in your cardboard box, but you want to level up to attract women. So it's like to think that we don't need each other, even today in the technological world, the way that society, it's almost asinine.
Well, I'll say this: it's not we don't need each other to survive, right?
Oh, like, yes.
And the thing is, both men and women are like, and this is what this list is based off of, is like women trying to figure out what they can do to keep men around. And you see it on Twitter, like, men will cheat no matter what I do. Men cheat, or men will sign up for this. And I'm like, listen, the thing is that men and women, at least in the beginning, have only two things to offer each other, right? And that is excitement and genetic material, right? Because there's a lot of single moms and a lot of single dads. And unfortunately, it happens, life or whatever, right? But if men and women if you want to stay ahead of the curve and not be depressed all the time, you have to understand that the first thing you have to offer women is excitement, is fun, is freedom, right? Because they already got everything else taken care of. You don't get a woman just because you have a job. You don't get a woman because you can build a coffee table or whatever. You get a woman because you excite her. You're the fun guy.
It's the lifestyle,
right? And men think that because we keep the structure of society together, that we're going to go on a podcast or or even worse in real life and explain to women, hey, I have a job and I maintain society. You should appreciate men more. Never going to happen, right? Because just like we can't fathom how much attention and adoration women get from social media and in real life from men, women cannot fathom the amount of work it takes to keep this whole country running. They will never understand. It will fly over their heads. You can take them to a refinery. You can take them to a factory. You could take them to anywhere, a boot camp, a Navy ship, an airport, anywhere, and be like, this is the amount of work it takes to keep this country.
And then they'll be bored out of their mind and tune out.
And they'll tune out. So instead of talking past each other, both sexes need to realize, like, hey, technology has made men and women not need each other for survival anymore, because women can work and women don't need us for anything. If they want movers, they can call two guys to move them out of their apartment. If they need a guy to fix their car, they can call AAA or whatever. So as a guy, you have to realize, like, hey, I need to focus on excitement. And then later on, if she wants to stay, she'll realize, like, oh, I'm actually kind of competent, and here's what I have to offer you. But we cannot talk all day about what men do for women on a large scale, because they don't care. They will never.
I just to piggyback off what Nuke said. I don't know if you guys have read this book. It's pretty good. Ryan,
I'm in process.
Ryan breaks it down as, women. We are at a place where women don't need men, right? But they do sure as hell want men. But they want a luxury brand. They all want Louis Vuitton. So
yeah.
It's all about how do guys make themselves a luxury brand that a chick wants as opposed to needs, right? Which let's move on.
I had one question
for
that, or one thing to say on that last one. With the abuse section, like how they classify everything as abuse. There is one thing I have learned in my past relationships as a thing called reactive abuse, and I'm not condoning it. It happens naturally when a guy, especially for guys, when they have that nagging wife or nagging girlfriend that just constantly feeds on that guy. He's eventually going to snap, and that's when they say it's abusive, and it's clinically called reactive abuse. So that's something you got to look out for. If you feel like you're getting to that step in the relationship, it's gone way too long, you probably should eject.
Everything's abuse nowadays.
I want to if you pull up that generally specific comment again, he's right. Men build societies and women make societies worth living in. Again, there's still that yin and yang facet to it. It's like, we could build a society, but do we even want to live in it? Well, we need someone to make it livable, And so I think he's right there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's move on to the next one here, which I think we can all breeze through, and we've talked a little bit about this, but weight doesn't matter. BMI is a lie. All sizes are sexy and healthy.
Look.
Bullshit.
No.
Thor, can I go ahead and just release them out now?
Take a breath first and don't destroy the set. Yes.
Here's the question.
Listen,
Who's more attractive?
Listen,
160 pounds or 200 pounds?
Listen, heifers. Let me tell you something. Whoever said beauty is in the eye of the beholder didn't have to hold her. Okay? That heifer had 4 necks. And I was lied to by HUDs. He said, go harpooning. Go get those whales. I've been traumatized ever since.
Well, no, I have to say, when I was talking about like the 230-pound woman out there, you went ahead and you upped your max and
I said
went ahead and did.
Yeah. I said so you did 220. Watch this.
She's not a lady if she's not 380. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Fuck today. That's big.
No. Let's just be real here, okay? I'm gonna keep it 100. Fat women stink. Logistically speaking, they smell bad because they can't reach around to clean their ass crack and their coochie crack and the fucking full
fat rolls.
Yeah, they stink. They smell.
They get yeast infections from the fat rolls.
I've never met a fat gal that smelled good. Not once.
Well, hold on. Have we ever experienced a fat girl who also has the long nails that don't allow her to wipe herself? Because that seems to be a massive.
You guys seen the Dorito fingers?
Oh, bring up
half
the real
the
topic.
community in DFW is that way, man.
Here. Yeah.
Have you seen the Dorito fingers? Where it's so fat it looks like a Dorito.
Here's the sad thing. Here's the sad thing. We say this, but then there's a good population of men who are just as fat. So I'm like,
Yeah.
fellas, you don't get the
Women
guys,
are pulling away
you
though.
gotta-
Women are pulling away. They're starting to beat us.
Well, they
They're
are, but
accelerating.
yo, fellas, like you got that booty do where your stomach sticks out further than your booty do. Like, you know, ladies, they have that booby do, you know, where their stomach sticks out further than their boobies do. Like, we got a problem.
Yeah, the average
Yes,
American
it's
woman
very
now
unfortunate that
weighs
we've been
more.
overrun with corpulent copulators to
Yeah.
the degree we have. Speaking of conspiracy, do you guys remember when everybody used to smoke cigarettes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we're
Yeah.
all debate.
4 out of
and
5
that-
doctors
yeah.
preferred Chesterfield.
And
Yeah.
you notice everybody was thin? Probably because they were
Virginia
cancer.
Slims.
But you know, as soon as people stopped, you know, having the cigarettes and that money went down, did you notice that all of a sudden people got fat and diabetes? So from all the
Get back
medical
to
expenses,
It's
smoking.
also the food pyramid.
it's really, really strange, and it is really out of control. And it's I don't know what to think about it, because do men prefer? They don't, but men are desperate, so it's like they're going to stop eventually. A thirsty man in the desert will drink that drop of water. And he'll
Like, there
think
was a
it's
thing
delicious.
about a girl having a shelf, and that was like her ass, like, you know, like she had an end table ass, like her ass was so nice, it just, you could put a cup on it. Now the shelves are in the front. The shelves are the stomach, the hose, the titties up.
The
It's
fupa.
like,
The fupa.
yeah, a
Fupa,
whole
yeah.
different kind of shelf.
From the boomer side, we used to take a dime, and if you could bounce that dime off, or if it's stuck, you got a problem.
Yeah.
So let's ask the question: why don't women lose the weight if it's their physicality is or their
Because
their-
I
Because
shouldn't
society
have to
is
do
telling us
anything.
Compatibility and laziness.
I shouldn't have to do anything to attract a man.
First lie.
There we go.
First
There we
lie.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when we see women with like the long ghetto nails and maybe they'd rather wear shapewear instead of lose 30 pounds or whatever.
But I don't understand.
My theory
She wants her Lululemon, man. She wants her Lululemon.
My theory is that there is a kind of competition between women to emancipate themselves from male expectation, and they still getting men to preposition them for either sex or relationships or whatever, right? So if you listen to female rap, unfortunately, that's what it's based on. I can be a hoe. I can have the long nails. I can be fat. I can be a bitch. And my men are still obsessed with me, right? Because that's how women compete. Lower class women, that's how they compete, right? Because they think I want to emancipate myself from male expectation, right? Just look at a lot of the viral threads back in the day on Twitter where men saying lists of what girls should be. And like, remember Ajax Cortez, that guy, the fitness
Yeah.
guy? He went viral. His first super viral thread was a list of things that women should be, right? And he made the news. That's how afraid women are of male expectations, how much it like pisses them off. So if you pay attention, if you realize, like, when women do things that make themselves unattractive or weird or just make they're saying this is what they're communicating. I can do whatever I want and men will still like me because I'm just that good, right? So that's one of the reasons women are fat, because if they really truly needed men in relationships, right? If men really had standards, then they would actually be in the gym or not eat so much, and McDonald's would go out of business.
See, that's exactly what it is. Men have no standards. Like, I tell you right now, I graduated from the schoolship of shallow how. I am shallow as fuck. Like, dead ass serious. Like, have one lazy eye. I'm gonna be fucking with you all day long. Who you looking at, bitch? Who are you looking at? Look at me. Eyes right here. Eyes right here. Like, I am that shallow, but it's standards. It's literally like standards. If I won't fuck you and walk out in public with you, you're not. I won't even talk to you. You know.
I go by Thor's savage math on this. 3 threes is a 9, man.
That's why
3 threes is a 9.
you are part of the
Guys,
problem.
there are some gals that are overweight. I'm not going to go into morbid obesity, but there are gals overweight that can make up an attractiveness by sexual energy.
When
And
you
they
say
do
overweight,
this.
are
And
you-
that's a big
I've seen it.
problem
That's the weird.
because
When you say
men
overweight, are you
so,
talking like
so
10
thirsty.
pounds?
So when men are so thirsty, it's that man in the desert problem again, and women capitalize on this with their social proof to each other. Oh, don't worry, girl, don't worry. And it goes right back to that first lie, Paul. Whereas that one guy will have you and he'll love you unconditionally As fat and as gross as you become with Dorito fingers, with yeast infections in the cracks of your, breasts,
Ugh,
and
boob sweat.
it's just,
Oh,
guys,
God.
When you walk
you're a
around,
bad
and you
man
have
if you can't
swoob,
accept that. And
Got to rub
that's
some Gold Bond under
it's
that.
so
if you walk around having
done.
swoob, not from working out, there's a problem.
But
And-
I don't get that about fat chicks. I really don't understand that. Why they even wear makeup? Where it's like, if all that money you spent on makeup and looking thin
Personal
was
trainer.
put into a gym membership, you would have been way better off. You can't foundation away a double chin.
Well, here's the
Yet they
thing.
try.
Here's the thing too. We
Got
all
a
know
contour of that.
Thor. We all know that testosterone makes effort feel good, right?
Mhm.
So if you're a guy with normal testosterone, when you deadlift a certain weight and you hit it, and you're just like, wow, I want to try it again because damn, that felt good.
Yeah.
How much testosterone do women have?
Oh, this is an interesting conversation itself. We'll have to do an episode because this is part of the problem as well. You know that testosterone has dropped 50% in men in the last 45 years. Guess what? It's happened in women too. The impact of their metabolism is insane. They have 12 to 17 times less testosterone, yet it is used for exactly the same functions that it is in men, and it's not for virilizing secondary sexual context, such as hair and all that stuff. No, that's reserved for dihydrotestosterone. We're talking testosterone and free testosterone. In a woman, the impact of testosterone is 12 to 17 times that of men. If you deprive them of that, they will get fat, soft, and they cannot think properly. And when I say think properly, that's form logical, pragmatic emotions to get things done. They are that impacted by it. I think, in my opinion, even worse. And if you don't believe me, you can look up the book, The Secret Female Hormone, that was done by Dr. Kathy C. Mopham. And it was done over 12 years ago. And it has all of the evidence you would need to actually look at what's happened to women from a hormonal perspective. And the big myths out there is estrogen woman, testosterone men. And that is not the case.
And for all the brothers watching right now who may be viewing, don't let anyone tell you, oh, it's racism. You know, the Southern food is what Black people like, so it makes us fat. No, not true. Check this out.
Yep.
All Black women from the 1940s.
So some of the issues are when you have low testosterone,
Look at
you
that.
have a lot of fat, you store something called aromatase inside the fat, along with something called leptin. Leptin affects your hunger and your hunger pathways through what's called a ghrelin. And this makes you hungry. And it's stored that way. And it's nature's way of having you store food for a famine. The other issue is that that aromatase will convert free testosterone into estradiol. And the estradiol strengthens the bones so you can carry more weight. I mean, there's way too many meathead myths out there about this stuff. But when that happens, you're in a very vicious cycle, very difficult to lose weight, particularly as a woman that has this overweight issue. And the medical community today will not address her testosterone deficiencies as they would with a man. Testosterone in a woman is only manufactured in her adrenal glands at this point, as far as we know. Whereas a man has adrenal and his testes. So it's a difficult thing for them to be, but if they recognize it, they could certainly conquer it.
GS is coming out with all these great one-liners.
That's a good one. I had to throw that one up on the screen right there.
That's a classic.
So I did a stream with GS on Monday, and me and him, like, after the stream, we talked like for almost like an hour afterwards. Like, dude is paratrooper, former paratrooper. You know, like, he is the real deal. Like, yeah, he's hilarious.
Let's go to the next topic here. We've talked about fat chicks plenty. But so Jack brought this up earlier on. He sort of jumped ahead, that son of a bitch. But he said men are most impressed by spunky women who are smart enough to verbally spar with them and win by attrition every hour of every day. So don't worry about being positive, receptive, easygoing, or sweet. Be critical and competitive with men to show them you're just so smart.
That's not what we want.
No.
Unless you're Governor Megatron, then you have the quirky Chungus. He goes for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. Fair. But
I will say when it comes to this that I do like my woman to be intellectual. I do like to be able to have some of these sparring conversations. I truly do. But it's like a give and take. Like that's like maybe 2-3% of the time that I'm with her. Like I want to have the intellectual conversations, but you don't want that all the time, and that's what's completely missed here.
No,
I think it's better to get
there's
that
not
from
a
your
problem
bros.
with sass. Like there's like girls give a lot of sass. They like giving that sass. I'm like, look, you know, sometimes that ass is writing checks that sass can't cash. So be careful, ladies. Like, you know, a little bit of sass is fun, but you have to know when and where. Like if you are doing it, if your sass comes out more than your ass does, well, then that's a problem.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like guys with game, right? Because a lot of us, once you start studying game, you learn to be cocky funny, right? Got to be cocky funny, got to be cocky funny. But if you do that and you're like teasing a chick and you're doing that more than like, say 20% of the time, you're come across like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's got to be a good balance. So yeah, a chick could have a little bit of sass, but it can only really be about 20% of the time. The rest of the 60% or whatever, she needs to be, or 80%, she needs to be, because like math, she needs to be, you know, pleasant to be around, you know? If she's sassy all the fucking time, you're like, man, what a bitch. I know.
If you're fucking him enough, you can be sassy.
Exactly. Thank you, Jack. Like
it comes down to that. If you're fucking him plenty, fucking him properly, blah, 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 you can every now and then be sassy or whatever. And that makes it playful. But like Huds just mentioned, yeah, like, of course, like you want to be able to have a conversation, especially if you choose this woman to be like somebody who stays in your life longer. Then you want to be able to have an intellectual conversation and spar a bit. But if that sparring exceeds the physicality, the affection, and the sexual stuff, then it's too much. Then it's too much for any guy to handle. If you're more combative than you are fucking him, then you're out.
Well,
that's why I said if your sass comes out more than your ass, then that's a problem.
Oh,
like that ass got to come out way more than that sass does.
Now,
yeah, there's definitely a balance. 100% agree with you, Jack, on that.
Let me ask you guys this.
But like you said,
guys, hold on. Let Mike.
Let me ask you guys this, because when I think of a sassy woman that I would want, this is what I see in my head. Me and my woman are out, and maybe it's like a function or a group date or something, and another dude's woman makes a comment at me, like a disparaging comment or like a passive-aggressive comment, and then my woman snaps back at her with the sass defending me.
Fight.
That I want.
Yeah,
but
I can see
even,
that.
like, even if your girl's giving you sass, like, you know, she could give you sass as long as she's giving you more ass and sass.
Yeah.
How's the behavior outside of the home though?
But see, again, it's like as long as like it's not like sass as in like challenging, like she's constantly challenging your authority type of thing.
Thor's shaking his head. I want to hear what Thor's got to say here.
Sass, no bullshit. I mean, women are being trained to be combative with men. It's a debate style you can see everywhere, and it's becoming normal. I say the sky's blue, and she says, no, it's actually gray.
Oh yeah,
this is the entry. We've had people on our show that can't even communicate without opposing whatever somebody says. All of us have. This is the common communication strategy that's being taught everywhere through operant conditioning, is to debate. This is being done to us on purpose. You know, does it really matter whether the sky is blue or gray? Or do we have more important things to talk about?
It's more about winning the argument. Yeah,
exactly. It's that need to be right has been elevated to the point where women think they must challenge a man to have a good man. I have to challenge him. Listen to the list, the 436-point list. I will complete a man. Bullshit. I will challenge him to heights he's never been at. No, his brothers will, and he'll do it himself.
Life will challenge him enough. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never a woman. She is his support. This is not the way it should be done.
I'll present the scenario. Let's say you're at a sort of classy affair, maybe dinner or a work event, and you bring your lady, and you're going up to meet someone important, someone you want to network with, someone you want to impress, right? And you say, "Hey, how you doing?" Let's say John or Mike. "How you doing, Mike? I'm so and so." And imagine your woman interjects and steps in front of you and says, "Hi, I'm so and so."
Yep.
Right? Because one of the things I've noticed about women with these behaviors, right, is that it's not confined to the home. It's who they are. They're like constantly trying to be the center of attention, right? You see this with the royal family. What's her name?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan
Meghan
Markle.
Markle.
Have you seen
The
her? in
Duchess.
public? Yeah, we all talk about is what she says about the royal family. But look at guys that know and guys that are switched on. See her how she is in public when she's not being interviewed. Whenever it's Prince Harry, right? Is going to talk to somebody, she just interjects and becomes the center of attention in the conversation. As a guy, you don't want that. You don't want that because it just makes you. It's embarrassing, right? You have to constantly pull your girl aside and be like, "Hey, you have to act right." A woman that is mature and understands her role will wait until you introduce her to the person. Be like, "Oh, so and so, this is my girl. This is so and so," and she will put out her hand and say, "Nice to meet you," right? And that man that you're trying to like do business with or meet or impress will be impressed just because of how respectful she is, right? And that's something that a lot of women don't understand. They think it's all. They think that they can blowjob their way into a man's heart, which they, I encourage you to try. But those
There have been plenty of women that have done that.
I mean,
Dude, what do you think?
Do they have a gag reflex?
This is really important.
But men with standards and men that have options will look at those little tiny moments in public and be like, "Yep, this girl's for me." That's how women win.
This is a big deal. When I did my LTR screening for people, I spent a lot of time on this and a lot of interviews. When, for instance, the woman that you decided to have a long-term relationship goes publicly with you, and she is going to speak around others about you. If she is going to say things like, "He is so smart, what a brilliant man, I am so lucky, and you should be so lucky too. Listen to what he has to say." Those are really important things. It is not does not happen often. What I most likely hear is that many times the women are trained, they listen to the man speak, and they interrupt and correct his language. This is a huge indicator, guys, when you are in public with a gal that might become a number one plate. You'll be speaking and you'll say something kind of out of place, and she will interrupt and correct you for no reason other than to be right. This is a giant red flag. And if you confront her on it and she holds a grudge more than 24 hours, you'd better not move forward with her. That's
I think that's where differing from sass and what I'm talking about. Because like what I'm talking about is like, you could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to this chick over here," and your girl's like, "Oh, you gonna fuck her too?" I'm like, "Yes, you want to join?" And if her response is like an attitude, or she's like, "Yeah, bring her home," like there's difference there, or like, "Oh, you're just gonna go talk to her, aren't you?" "Yes, I am." Like it's
just shit test passing, right?
Yeah, like that's a level of sass there that's not in that same sense that you're talking about. It's a little bit of sass, but not so much sass.
But do you guys know that feel when she has been on that high level of sass that even like the smallest shit test become tiresome?
Yes.
Where you don't even feel like playing with her anymore, where it's like, no.
Well,
we're just done playing. There's
a difference.
Is completely ruined.
There's a difference between a playful shit test, which is just like it's playful, you know it's harmless, and then just a straight up fucking insult where you're like, okay, she's just being
she wants you to win the shit test though. She wants you.
Oh, she does. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, please pass this shit test. For the love of God, please pass
But
this
that's
shit
the
test.
problem, where it's like when they've been so insufferable that a guy doesn't want to win anymore.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to play.
Yeah. He just doesn't want to play anymore.
Because it's a constant behavior with them. They have it on all the time.
They've been trained
don't know how to turn it off.
Literally by media, by social interactions. Now, sign language is so prevalent. Men are starting to adopt it, guys. Watch any of your reaction shows and you'll see sign language even from the host.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like this kind of topic kind of brings me into my interpretation of the Madonna whore complex, where you want her to be the Madonna in public, right? Being nice, quiet, respectful for you, and like bring you up, and be a whore for you in bed, be your personal porn star. That's how I interpret the Madonna whore complex. She's respectable in the streets. She's your personal porn star in the sheets.
Yeah, that's what every guy wants. Really, that's it.
Yeah. Let's do this last one here, and then we'll wrap up. So the last one is: having kids can always wait. Never prioritize family over career. You can just postpone these decisions indefinitely. Did you see that article about that woman who had a kid at 50? This is a big one. This is like the nuclear bomb. This is the nuclear bomb of the feminist lie. that women are told.
Your eggs beg to differ.
The intellect level of your child begs to differ.
Your personality at 30 versus your personality at 25 beg to differ.
The fact that you can't play with your damn kids when you're 47, it begs to differ. You can't- okay, your kids can't even hang out with you. You can't even build a fort with them or do anything with them because you got arthritis all through your bones and shit. You can't chase them anywhere.
Do you want to go to your kid's high school graduation at 70 years old? Fuck
looking
off.
like a grandparent?
I do with a 20-year-old girlfriend.
Bingo.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Jack does. Okay.
Can you imagine me
I've
old
been
and
to my
gray?
grandchildren's graduation.
I was talking with Glenn this morning about it. A couple of my friends that have been roommates of mine before, they both had their first kids around like 33, 34.
Mhm.
Kids are always freaking sick. I'm telling you, like that's why you don't want to wait that long. Like I've said multiple times on this stream that my dating apps are set 18 to 28 because I don't want a geriatric pregnancy.
That's reasonable. That's an expectation that you can have. You'll be castigated for it because women will shame you because they don't want to believe that. And
I get ran up the right flagpole for it.
That's absolutely a reasonable, rational request.
Like I've met women who've like given birth over like 32, 33, and they're an absolute physical mess afterwards compared to women who've given birth in their 20s.
Yeah.
They're
That's
just
like my friend.
completely destroyed.
Yeah.
The woman is
Well,
just
it's also-
destroyed.
Well, you know what, Glenn? I hear you about to talk, and maybe that's why I am the way I am, because I was born when my mom was 34.
It can happen.
So you've
exceptions.
got us.
But were you the first kid? That's
I
the
was.
question.
I was the first
Okay.
kid, yeah.
Then you might be
Here's
fucked.
the other thing for ladies is like, look,
It's just
you
probably
want to
kids. It's
you
just-
want to have kids and you want to like rebound back to like that sexy version of you in your 20s. It's gonna be a lot harder to do in your 30s and your 40s. Okay, your body ain't gonna bounce back as quickly as it was. Ain't a young whippersnapper no more.
Yeah, but it depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you bounce it back, you're respectful, you're sexy for your man, you have the right sex energy, and you're raising families. What is rule zero? What's useful to you? If that's useful, frick, go for it. You know, of
But what's useful to your husband is the question.
course.
Yeah.
And that would create some fulfillment in your life. So, plus, it would protect you from your own nature.
Yep. You gotta have those babies as early as you can. Not as
I actually think that's true. I have one regret. You know, I have 4 children. I have 13 grandchildren. I would kind of looking back, maybe it wouldn't have been much of a stretch to have more. Really, after 3 should be real easy.
It's just like clockwork after that.
I think that the most important thing though is like you're never going to be ready. Try and be as ready as you can. You're never going to be ready. And by having that fear of making an action, then you're just delaying it. And that's really what it comes down to.
Here's
Well,
one thing.
just like in the military, hurry up and be ready to wait.
Here's one thing that women don't understand either. Having kids younger, right? Like when your body's made for it, like 24 or something like that, your body bounces back easier.
I was
saying.
just about to say that.
And when you have a baby in your mid to late 30s, early 40s, even if you have eggs still, your body is not bouncing back. You're going to look like garbage for the rest of your life, and you're going to
Thank you.
feel
That's
bad.
what I was trying to say.
Nature's a tough animal. Yep.
You know what the thing is? I think a lot of women know it in their deepest of hearts, but they're so incapable of keeping a relationship. A lot of people suck in relationships, but like there ain't no red pill for women. There ain't no like womanosphere or whatever you want to call it. Like women didn't come together and be like, how do I make my marriage better or whatever? No, it's all about how do you make yourself better, girl? It was guys who were like, hey, how do I improve my marriage? How do I improve my life? Blah, 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 blah.
It makes them feel
Girls don't
bad.
have that. Yeah.
I don't get her to fuck me again.
Well, actually, this article did come from the Red Pill Women.
Yeah, one. Okay. Well, sorry, I'm generalizing, Paul. I thought we were
Not all women,
Spurted
Jack
Paul.
Napier.
It's the It's the fear from male expectation, right? You're going to get pregnant by a guy you're not sure about.
Right.
Social media told you that every guy is incompetent. The Homer Simpsons, the Peter Griffins of the world. Like if you get married to Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin, aka the average guy, then he's going to destroy your life, right? Like he's not going to be able to take care of you if you're pregnant, right? So what these women do is, like Dalrock said, they don't waste 1 ounce of their youth and beauty that they don't have to on men they intend to settle with. Right, because the men they intend to settle with, they're going to be subject to the male expectation that the alphas didn't put a subject under, right? So that's their choice, and it sucks for them because, like, let's be honest, like if you're a girl and you're gonna consolidate on one man, you know, you're gonna get pregnant. They have an innate fear of pregnancy. That is a healthy fear because they know if they get pregnant, they're gonna be vulnerable, right? Even with all the safety of the world and all the support pregnant women get now, it is an innate biological fear of getting pregnant by the wrong guy, right? We can only do so much to prove to them we're not the wrong guy, right? We could have our life together. We could be out, you know, we have 80% alpha, 20% beta, because that's what women need nowadays. You know, that slides to left or right depending on the woman. And that's really hard to find for one girl. Like, how many guys do you know have that perfect balance of being his own mental point of origin alpha, but kind of has the beta qualities to know that if I get this girl pregnant, I'll you know, and I'm in love with her, then I'll be a good dad too. Like that is extremely rare. So what women do is just like, okay, well, I'm going to wait as long as physically possible up until 30, 31, 32 in order to have a baby. The problem is that as the longer they wait, the guys that have options will want them less, because why would I get a 32-year-old who's maybe is hot, just as hot as a 24-year-old, a 25-year-old, but has baggage, is bitter, has debt, has, you know, her body isn't, you know, the fertility thing, when I could just wait a little bit longer, level up as a guy and get the 25-year-old. And that's always going to be a thing. And they'll write articles on it. They'll try to use pseudoscience against us, but biology is biology. And it sucks to be in that position, ladies, but you understand that life is about risks. So find a guy that you like that's kind of hot, but also not a dick to the point where he'll leave you over nothing. And good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Definitely not Nuke then. The way you roast chicks on fucking Twitter.
Oh, I don't roast nice chicks like that. It's
no, but that's the thing too with like women who are over 25, so to say, or are in that age range where they really want kids. When they get with a guy, and let's say the guy has been around, the guy has done some self-development, blah blah blah, even therapy, maybe like a lot of psychological development, he will know that, look, I will need at least 6 months with you in person to know if you will be the mother of my child. So even if she gets with him at 28 and 29, she first has to pass those 6 months. Then after those 6 months, like, she still has to be like a person likable enough, invested enough, capable enough to be his mother. What if she isn't? That relationship falls apart. 29, 28 and a half goes again after I don't know how many months. 30 is getting very quickly or around the corner with that when that comes up. Like, if they're incapable of relationships and whatever, and they're going for capable guys, it takes time for that guy to actually decide about her if he wants her to become the mother of his children. And I know a lot of women cope about this, like, a man in love knows right away. No, a man in love thinks that he knows right away, but if he's done the self-development, he will know, like, okay, my dick and heart are talking right now. Brain, take over. Where it's like, you can, like, people can hide who they are for the first couple of months. You don't know exactly what's happened in her youth or whatever. You don't know exactly what baggage she has. If you put a baby in her now, you will not know what will happen. So wait it out. Nuke even said, like, it takes at least a year. So
I said
for
6 months for like a guy that's like knows, you know, like knows himself and has vetted himself first. 6 months, you'll know.
6 months. Okay, yeah. Then who was it who said a year? Maybe it was John Fitch. I can't remember.
I think
John said like, I want to say Donovan's also said like 2 years almost.
Like,
damn.
It was like 1 year before committing exclusive.
But even then, vetting doesn't work all the time because
no. Like, it's mostly boundaries, which you find out in those 6 months.
When you're vetting, you're really vetting yourself.
Yeah, what you want.
Yeah. but you're willing to what you really want to do. That's what you're doing. You're vetting yourself. You think if you think you're vetting her, you're vetting what you want in your life, not necessarily who you want in your life.
How she fits into that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Stefan Molyneux gets a lot of hate in this space, but goddamn, was that man right on peaceful parenting and shit like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it might end. You might find the man of your dreams, and you guys might get divorced. So what?
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to the chat. 304 people in the chat
Hell
today.
yeah, we broke it.
Salute to you guys. Salute to the chat for
The
making
tide is rising.
Yep. Salute to the chat.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. There you go, Huds. There you go, Huds.
There you go, Huds.
Yeah.
Hey, we got
Thank you.
304.
Thank you very
we
much.
got the whole number. We got the whole
304
number.
is in this
Quick,
house.
screen capture this. Screen capture
Okay.
this.
Okay.
There's some hoes in this house. There's some.
And
Wait a minute.
and the thing is, ladies and guys too, if your marriage doesn't work out and you guys become single parents, so the fuck what? Life goes on, right? You're not right. It just your dating options will go down as a woman, right? If you're a single mom, so what? That's life. Your life isn't supposed to be some perfect little thing where everything works out all the time. You're gonna be okay. If you're a dude and you're a single father, which a lot of men are, you're gonna be fine. There's single fathers that are better fathers as single men than they are married, right? And you might not know that till it ends, right? And also, it's gonna be okay, right? I know society says that if you're not married, you're a failure. Shit happens, you know. We're not dealing. We don't know what to do with the social media thing. It's making us crazy as human beings. We don't know what to do. We're trying to grasp on it. We don't know the power it gave us. So let's just relax, forgive yourself, and realize that you're especially as a guy, your marriage doesn't define your relationship status. Doesn't define your value as a man ever. So.
All right. I think let's go ahead and use that as a place to end here, and we'll just go around the horn and talk about what we're working on. We'll start with our guest today, Jack Napier.
Hello.
What do you got going on today?
Today?
Or in general?
Oh, in
Building
general.
Legos like ever.
No, not even. Tomorrow we're doing Post Zero. We're talking about how you are not, how you might get your revenge fantasy and you're not going to like it, and how wanting revenge is actually very detrimental to your own well-being. So we're doing that tomorrow on Post Zero. Other than that, I will probably do a stream on Wednesday, my channel, Truthcast, probably something fitness related. And for what I have done this past day, we had Rule Zero on my channel, and we did Red Evening with Rob Says last night on my channel. So I can drop a link in there, I guess, to my channel, so you people can check it out if you want to. Oh, and I did a stream with Nuke this past week as well about the power of Stvu. Shut the fuck up. Why it's important for a guy to know when to speak and when not to speak. So if you're interested in all that, go to there. My channel is in the chat, and that's it from me. Thanks for inviting me on again.
Yeah, let's go to AJ next.
What's going on, guys? I'd like to give a shout out to the Beer Club, the Hot Dude Army, and the Dragons for helping us get to that miraculous 300 views, and Duke for pushing it. You can find me on my channel, Arm Details, on YouTube. Find me at AR Matthews 33 on X, AJMK6R20 on Instagram. I am slowly getting myself prepped up to do probably my best live stream review of Ryan Stone's frame. I just want that review to be really good because, no offense to Ryan, I fear the man. I want to be good for him.
You better do him justice, or you're fucked.
I'm going to try doing justice.
Mike Steele, let's go with you, man.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. I do want to make sure, though, that we acknowledge this good faith question that was posted earlier by Cold Truth. I find this to be an interesting conversation, so thank you for that. Clarification question. Are y'all speaking specifically of women who are stay-at-home wives or mothers new to this sphere? No, we were not speaking specifically about stay-at-home wives or mothers. We're speaking about women in general. Paul, if you would be a good, fine gentleman and post the URL to the article that you were reading in the chat so that Cold Truth here can look it up. So we were just talking about basically bad advice that has been given to women over the years that basically ruins their chances of finding a good relationship. So that's what that's about. So
Yeah,
thank you very
the
much.
article
for your...
was written by a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Cold Truth, for that genuine question. If disagreements and questions in good faith will always be addressed. Me personally, I got a slow week coming up here because now AJ made me sick when he came out to Vegas. So,
Hey.
Give you that.
You're welcome.
Mile high throw.
You're welcome.
yeah, plain throat. So I wouldn't be surprised if you come down with something now, AJ.
Plain
when you
throat
come
is
back.
crazy.
Better not. I'll
Dude,
kill him.
I'm like, I got the immune system of a god.
Kill him.
But no, I got a slow week this week, so probably not a whole lot. Unless Paul does something crazy on Twitter, Paul or Nuke do something crazy on Twitter, you won't hear a whole lot from me this week. I gotta rest now. Thanks.
Speaking of crazy Twitter, I do believe that our high numbers today really are mostly Nuke and his Twitter followers. So shout out to the Nuke crew.
Just remember, you guys put me on in the beginning when I was last year on February after I wrote that thread. You were the guys that put me on YouTube, so don't be praising me too much. It was you guys too. So
Genius recognizes genius, Nuke.
all right. So shows Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. I talk about game solution-based red pill content, right? We know women, the women's are bad, so we kind of need solutions going forward and all that stuff. So that's what I'm here for. And then overall, you can't convince all women to act right. You can only be a better man, right? You can only be smarter, and not only better man, because there's a lot of good men that are getting destroyed. It's being smarter, right? And getting over your ego and realizing that you can't change women, right? You can only you can only provide incentives for them to change. And if they want to change, that's it. There's only two women that are on your program and women that are not. And I don't want to waste any minute. I don't have to any time more than I have to on women that are not on my program. So ladies, choice is yours. I don't care if you don't want to be on my program. Have a nice day, and I wish you luck. If you do want to be on my program, welcome aboard. That's all I got to say. So thanks.
All right, Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah. So I got a real spicy video that I can't drop on YouTube, but
is it
I'm gonna watch it later.
Is it AJ? Is it AJ and Mike Steele?
No,
Yes,
no,
it
no,
is the
no.
footage from my GoPro.
Are we gonna
That's in
have
my
to?
suitcase
Are
right
we gonna
now.
have to buy some Jergens or?
You're gonna have to watch this on Gumroad. Mike, do you have it prepped?
Oh, Mike, you're on mute.
75% and processing. Get ready.
Here we go. Here's a little promo for you guys.
Good deal, Glenn.
Oh god, we're gonna get banned. All of us.
No, don't ban us.
I'm not banning you.
On this episode of the Late Night Podcast with Glenn Lawrence, we got the beautiful Hime Marie coming through for an exclusive interview where Glenn asks to see if he has what it takes to be in the adult film industry and to react to some of the most wildest videos and to talk about relationships and to see whether or not Glenn actually shoots his shot. This is going to be that hot and steamy and funny kind of episode you are not going to want to miss. So make sure you watch the Late Night Podcast, Glenn Lawrence.
Yes,
I absolutely love the fact that you took me out of that entire thing. Thank you.
Well, because that was the
Glenn,
promo.
Glenn, I got a question for you now. Are you gonna buy Sterling Cooper's book to get your dick bigger? Because I don't think you're gonna make it in the porn industry.
I've already been working on it. I've been working on it for the last 2 years.
Oh,
I got an adult film star, Hime Marie, award-winning adult film actress. Me and her and HUD sat down, and we had a great, conversation where we played a game.
These days.
We had a great conversation where we played a game at the end. Let's just say I won.
Was it Mr. or
Naked
Twister?
It's creative, and Glenn's done a good job. I look forward to it. It's going to be behind a paywall because it is like that, and it's something special. I think that Glenn does well here with HUDs, and they have something special. So it's going to be very much worth watching when that comes out because it's different, and it's entertaining, and it's just fun. So I have seen it, Glenn. Good job, and HUDs. Very good job.
Thank you, sir.
Was that all you wanted to say about that, Glenn?
Yes, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, let's go over to HUDs real quick, and then we'll have Thor go after that.
Absolutely. So continuing to put out content and to help guys. For anybody who doesn't know, I am a dating coach, so I help guys, I guess, adjust to this modern 2024 world that is very confusing. So the best way to reach me is right there on my Instagram. As I had said at the very beginning of the show, really cool this week for one of my members to evolve my book, The First Text, into he just optimizing it over and over and over again. And then it was really, really cool to be able to bring together two different men's groups. And so I just really hope we can continue to do that. Like, we shouldn't be divided. We should all try and win together. So that's really all I have to say. Instagram, best way to reach me.
All right. Thor, man who
fantastic.
brings us all together.
You know what? I live for this, guys. It's the best having their cars come on Saturday morning, have a nice open chat. I look forward to it every week, no matter how tired I am. This is fantastic. Guys, somebody mentioned in the chat real quickly, I'm just going to do two things here. Something about the Myers-Briggs, and it is relevant kind of to the blue pill lies. Myers-Briggs test is used in corporate America. I have a chapter on this in my book where I delve into why it was put together, and it does reinforce the blue pill lies that you hear today based on emotionalism and kind of convincing men in corporate America to think and behave emotionally like women. And if you learn the history of it, look at the chapter that I have. I believe it's 9. It's the warning, and the warning will protect you. So with that, take a look on Amazon, A Dominant Masculine Presence. That's really it. The only other thing that I would say is right now, I am actually getting quite a few DMs on becoming a power lineman. So I'm just going to go ahead and post my 1-hour video on how you can become a power lineman in skilled trades and start making between 100 and 300K a year. We really need power linemen out there, even though we're entering somewhat of a repressed economy. Infrastructure is critical. And if you're the kind of guy that can get up early, stay late, pound your chest, and be proud of work that you've actually accomplished, this would be something for you. It'll show you all the schools in the U.S., and it'll give you an idea of what kind of search and what kind of jobs you can do to prepare for a career as a power lineman. Here you go. Thank you, guys. Until next time, Valhalla Studios, Skull, back to you.
All right. And then for me, you guys can tune into my podcast on Monday. My guest is one of my 3% brothers, Taylor Michael Griffin. He was on before, and his episode did really good numbers. So I brought him back on, and on Monday we're going to be talking about the differences between men and women. And a lot of these differences, like we've mentioned today, men and women are made to complement each other. So tune into that. Other than that, I'll drop a link to that in the chat here. Other than that, you guys can get my book. I too have a book. We all have books, right? You can't be in the space unless you have a book. Get my book here.
Sir, I can write.
I will play a commercial for the book, and then I guess we'll leave from there. Other than that, Skull, guys. Life is a journey filled with twists and turns. Why is it that essential life lessons aren't taught in school? You probably know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but do you know how to invest in a Roth IRA? We're not taught to build ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. The roadmap to success is more than just a college degree. You don't have to follow the traditional route. Success isn't confined to a classroom. It's about discovering your own path. You ever wish that someone handed you a guidebook to life when you were 18? Well, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Everything I wish I knew when I was 18. Advice for young men to create a great life for themselves. This book is your compass, guiding you to pick the right career, how to invest wisely, and how to prepare for a fulfilling future. To take control of your health and your fitness. Learn how to date efficiently and find genuine desire. And master the art of leading healthy relationships. Your path is defined by the choices you make, not by others' expectations. Don't wait until you're 35 to unlock your potential. Order your copy now on Amazon. Rewrite your story. Build the life you deserve.